الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من ناس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تسألون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. That is to say, all the praise and thanks is due to Allah. We praise Him, we seek His help, and we ask for forgiveness. We seek refuge in Allah from the evil of our souls and for the adverse consequences of our deeds. Whomsoever Allah guides, none can lead astray, and whomsoever Allah leads astray, none can guide. And I bear witness there is no deity worthy of worship except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I bear witness that Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is his slave and messenger. Oh, you believe, fear Allah. Oh, you believe, fear Allah, and are not accept as Muslims in the state of Islam. O mankind, fear your Lord, who created you from a single mate, Adam, from Adam created, from a single person, Adam, from this person created his mate, Hawa, Eve, and from these two created many multitudes of men and women. And fear Allah to whom you demand your mutual rights, and don't sever or cut off the ties of kinship. O mankind, fear Allah. O you believe, fear Allah, keep your duty to Allah, and speak always the word of truth. He will direct you to do righteous deeds and forgive you your sins, and whomsoever obeys Allah and his messenger has indeed achieved a great achievement. As to what follows, the best speech is the speech of Allah, the best guidance is the guidance of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The worst affairs is newly innovated matters within his deen, which is a bid'ah. All bid'ah innovations is misguidance, and all misguidance will surely lead to their fire. As it states in the opening that the best speech is the speech of Allah, and when we think about it, well, we know that to be the kitab, the guidance, this is of course Allah's speech, and he said the best guidance is the guidance of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So when we think of guidance, is of two types, right? Tawfiq, irshad. Tawfiq solely from Allah. It's guidance from us, accepting of Allah, of saying shahada, of Allah allowing us to be opened up from this to this deen, and this irshad, which is guidance through Allah's messengers, his preachers, the scholars, things like that. That's Allah's other form of guidance. We never was a Rasul, which is a messenger or a prophet, who received that tawfiq, that straight. Well, we get the tawfiq as well because we took shahada, but we didn't have that direct revelation when it comes to the kitab or any other books that Allah has sent down. But in terms of irshad, we follow closely as much as we can and to the best of your ability the righteous guidance. Scholars, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, of course, first, the scholars who is the heirs of those prophets, of him, and try to do it to the best of your ability to those that sound. That's what keeps this way of life pure, without any innovations. Anything that you put in just to make yourself pleasing, it gets rejected because it's not in compliance with what Allah has sent down, right? And it's a reason for that. If you can look over throughout the years how things have changed, people follow the trend. They follow that thing, and now they have forgot where they come from. It, in a sense, their moralities and things like that changes. But the kitab and the hadith, the sound hadith, is that guide throughout it all, right? It never gonna deviate. It's not going. It's just like you making your day around your salat, and not your salat around your day, right? So the same thing in turn hadith. We make the hadith as our guide throughout all these times, And the scholar's gonna say, hey, this is how you can apply that according to these rulings. So if you don't know where to search and you just listen to search to everyone, because Islam can come in many forms due to social media. Anybody can sound real good. You think they're shake or you think whatever because they quote this just like we read this and they give an explanation. It may be wrong. So it's important to try to stick to that pure Islam, you know, throughout all these sects and things that come about. Because it gets rejected. That's the whole point of it. You know, it gets rejected whenever, whatever you're doing with it. Allah says in Surah 39:22, and I'm not going to start a step here too long, just make a few little points. It says this, and it translates to mean, is he whose breast Allah has opened to Islam so that he is in light from his Lord as he is. And they got this in parentheses because, you know, in the Arabic, and this is me speaking to me, is me trying to learn the Arabic wording more because the meaning is really deep. Like I don't read interpretations of people hearing the kitab and they start crying, right? So we listening, it just sounds beautiful. Like I don't heard it be affecting the heart when I know certain words. It make you feel a certain way, you know. So when they put it in parentheses, it's just trying to understand a little bit, get on, you know, a little bit of what it actually these Arabic words are saying. So in parentheses, he says, as he is a non-Muslim. So it's a question. It says, is he whose breast Allah has opened to Islam so that he is enlightened from his Lord as he is as he who is a non-Muslim? So woe to those whose hearts are hardened against the remembrance of Allah. They are in plain error. So when I read stuff like that, and he's saying is light from his Lord, and is he whose breast Allah has opened to Islam so that he is in light from his Lord as he is to a non-Muslim, right? Is you the same? So it's like what pride you take and you saying of you being able to have this opportunity to say the Shahadatain, declare that Allah is who he is, and Muhammad Sallallahu is who he is. So I think a lot of times, and just from actually not judging it, because it's be me correcting me. This is me talking to me. So it's like, what have you done today to put forth for tomorrow? That's what I kind of do at night, right? Meaning the hereafter. Tomorrow is tomorrow, right? It's just you got an opportunity to correct choices, bad choices, or mistakes. Ask for forgiveness and lay down. And the beauty in that now I've laid down and went to sleep, which they say that's the cousin of death. It's like you ain't dead, but you like the cousin, how they describes it, right? So it's like if I were to go within that period, I died upon that. Just like Salah, over Father, you wait until do, right? So in between that time, that's the state you are in. You died in between those two things. So when I think it like that, it's like what character you put forth for others to have the opportunity to, if I never get to speak to them directly, inform what Islam is, my character, maybe they come inquire. We become friends and now they understand who I am really, right? Because I get that a lot. A lot of people say, when I finally talk to them, they be like, it was something about you, right? And the more I say little stuff, I don't go around saying, no, because it throws people off. For one, they don't know what it is, right? So I may say God willing or God has will. Like, and then when they more familiar, now I talk about Islam. It's like getting a man, basically. You know, kind of like people says, you read a lot of self-help mindset books, they say universe. They say the universe instead of saying God. Because if they put God on the cover, who's going to read it? So, well, everybody won't read it. It's just how people is. It's atheism, it's all these different religions and sects. So, they make a universe to draw you in. So, I take that approach on just when it comes to the deen, because it said to give out the deen, even if it's just one verse. So at least I did that when it comes to my dawah, which is your character is the best dawah you can give. You know, then I can tell you, hey, this is what I'm on, right? To pull you in. And some of the scholars that I would highly suggest, it's like the four scholars of Hadith too. Ibn Ahmed, Ibn Hanbal, Hanifi, Shafi, Malik. Did I say Malik? It's four rightly guided caliphs, what they call them. Khalifa the Rashidun, I think that's what it is in Arabic. And those is like schools of thoughts, but even them, if you read up on them, they'll say, hey, you find anything that I'm teaching you that contradicts the Sunnah, follow the Sunnah, right? because they're not acknowledging their imperfections as a human. We're not perfect, so they may err. So they say, if you find something teaching is wrong, hey, follow this, then bring it back. Of course, we'll correct it. That's the that non-arrogance they have. And of course, like Bukhari and and Iman Nawari, it's hadiths and things like that. So what I wanted to really speak around real briefly is just kufr. It's like 7 things. It's major kufr, and then it's and I always use this book. Y'all got this Noble Crane. He said it's like taught. How long I've been having it right, but it's I like these old ones. By I think this is who narrated it, but it's called the Noble Crane. Anytime you see that one, is the one that got all the stuff in the back, like appendices and stuff like that. It got like a really good lot of information in there in terms of Islam that you ever was to get and just read on it. So in back of this one, it talks about kufr, basically disbelief in all of the 6 articles of Islam. Right? We know it's Allah, His messengers, books, the angels, Al-Qadr, their resurrection. All of those are like the 6 articles of faith, right? We can get the Hadith Jibril, it talks about that plainly. That's where it comes from, actually. Well, not come from, but you can hear it in that Hadith where he is what faith is, which is this, and what Islam is, the 5 pillars. So the major disbelief, Kufr al-Akbar, this aspect excludes one completely from the fold of Islam. Like me and you partake in this, you was out of the fold of Islam until you correct it, until you come back into the fold. You ask for forgiveness for this thing and come back into the fold. Basically, this takes you out. So one of them is Kufr al-Takhadir. This implies disbelieving the divine truth or denying any other articles of faith, right? And as Allah says in Surah 39, verse 32, then who does more wrong than one who utters a lie against the law and denies the truth when it comes to him? Is there not in hell an abode for the disbelievers, right? So he's telling you, like, if you just denying, if you saying, hey, Allah doesn't exist, and you know it, you know it, like you come into this fold and you get whatever life throws at you, and you stop believing in God, you stop believing in whatever it is that He brought, of course you're out of the fold. I think that's kind of plain, right? And then it's Kufr al-Ibad wa Takabur wa, Tasdik. This implies rejection and arrogance to submit to Allah's commandments after conviction of the truth. And Allah says, and remember when we said to the angels, prostrate yourself before Adam, and they prostrated except Iblis. He refused and was proud and was one of the disbelievers. Then it's Kufr al-Shak wa Zan. This implies doubting or lacking of conviction in the 6 articles of faith. And Allah says, and he went into his garden while in a state of pride and disbelief, unjust to himself. He said, I think not that this will ever perish, and I think not that the hour will never come. And if indeed I am brought back to my Lord on the day of resurrection, I surely shall find better than this when I return to him. His companion said to him during the talk with him, do you disbelieve in him who created you out of the dust, then out of nutfah, then fashioned you into a man? But as for my part, I believe that he is Allah, my Lord, and none shall I associate as partner with my Lord. So when you think of these types of stories, and this is in Surah 18, verse 35 through 38, when there's 2 brothers is actually talking to each other, this is ayat, and he thinking like, would this ever perish? He feeling so good about this thing, right? And it's wisdom, it's hikmah in that. Like sometimes some people get to a point, cause I hear it, like from not Muslim, you'll hear them. It was some people saying, I wish I had this moment for life. Like they just so caught up, like, dang, I don't want this thing to ever leave. Like this is Jannah, basically. And so when I'm hearing it, it makes me think of these types of ayat. So he walking like, damn, do we ever think this will ever purge, right? Do we ever think that, that I'm going to not be who I am at this moment? That's kind of like the translation I get from it. And it's stuff like that that makes you like, man, that's the type of pride I feel when I be reading about the Islam, when I acknowledge that I'm Muslims and he allowed me to open my breast up to it. It's like, not that they ever take it for granted, you know? Like, never at one point in time feel like I done made it. Like, nobody can ever say that, no matter what you done said, right? Because at any given time, you can be like this person. You can just get to the, something be so beautiful happen to you, you just so caught up in that thing, and you forget where it comes from. You forget what you're supposed to even do to it, with it. Everybody that gets something, whether it's no matter how small or big, is given to you for a reason. And we have law, we have zakat, we have sadaqah. We have those things you're supposed to do with it. Because you get, if not, why would we get questioned about your wealth? Why would you ever get questioned about something if you didn't get it in order to do something accordingly to the worship? That's it. Because it's gonna leave. At the end of the day, you can leave legacy, which you should want to, but at the end of the day, that's gonna be gone. You know, it's your deed. So what you did with it, now maybe they may be doing something better with it than you, but what did you do with it? What opportunity came for you to pay it off? So I think about that stuff that keeps you humble, keeps you moving out this earth as, yeah, I haven't made it yet, until you walk across that Sirat. Because we're going to be creeping. Some people going to be creeping, you know? And that's painful when you hear about it. You can't think about it like how sharp that is. Something thinner than your hair is sharper than a sword. You got to walk across it with hoping you get a huge light. But some people, just a little light, it says a light of your big toe. And it's dark. Like, that's different to me when I read over that stuff. When you think of that stuff like that, and it's trying to paint you a picture of it. So this is the other part. It's trying to paint your physical mind of how this is. But it's not like that. It's something probably worse. That's how I think. Just like you buy the fruit in general. They try to tell you, hey, it's a fruit. It look like the fruit you know, when you bite it, nothing like it. So he trying to lay it. Look like it may look, so we'll think apple, right? But you might, oh shoot, and you hit it like, oh, this is different, you know? So think about the Sirah. It's the same thing. He trying to describe us on this level of what it look like. It's gotta be way worse. That's how I think about it. So when you stop, think about when you're in a dark house and you walking through your house, you trying to pause sometimes when the lights go out. So this lights is out. You just got this light beside of your big toe according to your deeds you did here. So if you did a lot, you get a bigger light. But you still walking across this road. Either way it go. Somebody gonna fly across it, somebody gonna jog, some people gonna walk, some people gonna be crawling. So you think of that, cause I don't got no light. And you know you fall off, you know what's under it. Jahannam. So of course you're gonna be stopping. Cause you conscious of wanting to stay on this thing. But as you stop, you getting cut up. But you ain't stopping. I mean, you probably been in a situation you scared and you clinging over there like hands bleeding and everything. You're not letting go. Cause you know you let go, you falling into something far worse. So that's exactly what he's trying to paint the picture. So why is he telling us that though? You know, because that's a part of his justice. He can't punish you for nothing you was never made aware of. Just like if you practicing the deen and you doing something another that's not in line with the deen, you didn't know. So how can you get punished for it, right? You can't. So by saying this thing, now you know. You can't just just put cotton in my ears and act like I didn't hear it. Can't do it, you know. Allah knows. Your body part's gonna tell it on you on the day of resurrection. So forget this word is just this word. It's fleeting. It goes. Like 100 years is really short. And of course I'm not 100, but it's really short when you think about it. Like 75, I'm looking at other people ages, my age, 46, about to be 47, and I'm like, man, I can still remember when I was like this, right? I can literally see certain images of me dancing in front of a TV with my family, right? So that's quick. So imagine these times we in, and constantly everything is moving faster. So now I know he says these are the signs of the last days. All of this stuff that's going on in the Middle East is signs, like a ton of them, if you just research them, and you can equate with the building of the tall buildings. I think the Euphrates, that's one. I don't want to say think that's, so I'm gonna find that and bring it back. But they talk about it drying up, and it dried up like they've been seeing pictures of it, right? Of course, the tall buildings, Abu Dhabi, Dubai, all these places, tallest they building, they competing, and those are some of the signs. The women and the clothing, the thing that's haram looked at halal, you know. All of that stuff we can see as Muslims. So it's like, what are we preparing for? What are we doing in retrospect in terms of what's the ultimate thing in terms of Jannah? So I wanted to talk about kufr because I think a lot of times they get lost on us because we Muslims, you know. I say ihdina siratal mustaqim, right? Guide us to the straight way. Why am I saying guide us to the straight way? I'm already got it. I'm Muslim, right? That's what it possibly go through some people's head. Cause you're in constant need of their guidance, constantly. That's what it's saying, right? And then not the way to receive my anger. In the hadith, it talks about the Jews or those who went astray, talking about the Christians because of the implications that they done, the things that they done. So that's why they breaking it down like that. So as a Muslim, it's allowing us to reflect on that and just look at it like, I'm not safe. I can easily do this right thing. I can easily go astray. I can easily incur the wrath of Allah to another higher degree too, because we got it already. You done said you Muslim. You acknowledged it, and now you rejected it. You apostated. You became hypocritical. So of course you in a little bit more, it's a little more trouble for you, Some people never got what we got. It's Aboriginals in Australia. I'm pretty sure they never heard of Islam. There's one guy that just passed away like a month ago. 100% sure he don't know nothing. He never knew nothing about Islam. He is one of those original ones in there, and he having no contact. Rarely see him. People used to leave food for him. This was documented, And he'd just get in. They found him hanging in a tree, and his little hammock passed away. A lot of them took him, 100% sure he don't know nothing about Islam. Like, so what would it be for him? Allah knows. I don't know. But for us, that has technology, that has phones, that can see each of us walking every day as Muslims, they got the ability to inquire about it. So it's going to be different for them, just as for us. So one other one is to get on with this. It talks about kufr and the fact, which is hypocrisy, right? And Allah says in Surah 63, verse 2 and 3, they have made their oaths a screen for their hypocrisy. Thus they hinder men from the path of Allah. Verily, evil is what they used to do. That is because they believed and disbelieved that their hearts are sealed, so they understand not. And the second one is the minor disbelief. Now this aspect of belief is kufr al-asghar. Say this aspect of disbelief does not exclude one from the fold of Islam. It is also termed kufran ni'mah. This implies disbelief manifesting itself in ungratefulness for Allah's blessings or favors. And Allah says in Surah 16, verse 112, and Allah put forth the example of a township, Mecca, that dwelt secure and well content, its provision coming to it in abundance from every place. But it, meaning its people, denied the favor of Allah with ungratefulness. So Allah made it taste extreme of hunger, famine, and fear because of that evil, which was in their case denying Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which they, its people, used to do. So it talks about being grateful, ungratefulness as the minor disbelief. So we're like, why would that be in there? Like, that's something to ponder on. Because at the end of the day, it goes back to what we just stated. We did not just wake up one day and say, La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. You didn't do that, right? You was given that opportunity. Allah guided you, open your breast today. So now you walking about it. This is your day. Now you just get, I'm going to just go in and out of this thing, right? I'm going to just do one thing one day and then the next day, or I come out the door, son, later, I'm looking like Muslim. When I get back in the house, I'm in there, I don't know, doing the walk, if y'all know what the old dance is, or whatever. You just chilling, doing all this crazy stuff, strange stuff in the house. But Allah sees you. So who do you truly worship? That's kind of how it goes in my mind too. Why am I going to worry about so-and-so going to say, when it's Allah who's going to really be the one who grant me this success or this punishment? That makes no sense when you think about it, right? It's like, I'm going to put a face on for everybody, but I'm going to come here and hide, and I'm going to do what's really me. So when you put the face on, you never even get the opportunity to correct it. Because you can't correct yourself when you're in a state of a lie. There's no way. That's why when you deal with someone and you first meet them and it's based off a foundation of a lie, as you trying to correct it, it's gonna be struggles. Like probably you done had this happen before, like relationship or something. You came in on a lie and you say, "Oh, I wanted this," but it really wasn't like that. But as time goes, you ask for forgiveness. You try to get away from it, but it was hard. It was always something coming up because now there's a real person. They see the real you now. So like, oh shit, I don't know about this one. So it's important to move about as Muslim to the best of your ability. I'm grateful, even with some. I did this like last week. This is like I was rehabbing the house over here, right? And it rained. It was like raining, and it took like all of probably 3 seconds. I walked outside, I'm like, man, this house about to get like drenched. They just put the wood in and everything. So I'm like, man, why is it raining? As soon as this is true, as soon as I said that, I was like, nah, alhamdulillah. Because one, this is blessings. Rain is blessing. One time make the water. So when I said, oh, nah, don't do that, right? I corrected it. I corrected my thinking because that's ungratefulness for this rain, right? That was a chance for me to make dua. So I immediately made a dua. Made a dua about whatever it is I was thinking this rain's about to do. Walked the house with nothing but a few drops in there. See what I mean? Stuff like that. When as a Muslim, it's like it removes the fear or whatever gonna come from it. It allows you to take the smallest thing that you may not think is being ungrateful, which is minor. That would have been minor. You are basically cursing the rain, which who is you really cursing at the end of the day? Who is you really mad at? So it took me all but 2 or 3 seconds to be like, oh no, alhamdulillah, and start making it do it. I'm on the porch, just boom out there. Thunder green light. I went in after that second one now, that hit. I went back in the house, but that literally was played through my head. So it's stuff like that I try to be conscious of throughout my days. Of it keeps you humble. It keeps you like on that path of whatever success. You can get all the success you want in the world. It's your right. It says as long as it's allowed. But then what you're doing with it and what you become once those things come to you in that form. So that's why I want to talk about kufr, like the major and the minor. And you can dig more into this, like books on these things, like they done got topics. They just basically go into these two things to give you a more in depth. But it's inside of these Qur'ans as well. A ton of other little stuff. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. It's been like a couple questions when it came to like things that people see the cultural, meaning when they say cultural, they're talking about like the brothers that's Arab, right? That's basically what it means, right? Or African American too, right? Because it's like your culture is you. Well, I'm gonna say African, not African American. African American, a whole nother thing. But African, that's the culture. Arab, that's has the culture attached to it. So when you hear a lot of people stating culture and bringing it into the deen, that's what they really talking about, right? It's a classifying, either Arab or African American, depending on the artist they speaking to. So when it comes to the guidance, that's why the guidance of Ishaq, Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, that's where a lot in the hadith, it's specific. It takes away culture. It removes it. It's like no debate, period. It no matter what it is. He even said in his last speech, and there's no Arab better than non-Arab, black better than white, all of those things, right? The whole speech. So he telling us, like, don't be like that. Be brothers, right? So when you make brothers, and this hadith, how you interlock the finger like a brick, supporting a brick, like you got see how they interlock and how you should be, right? That should remove it, I don't get it because I haven't traveled like that too. Maybe y'all do, but from what I've experienced, it don't be like that, But I do see people have their culture where they've grown up and they come in and it's not Islamic. It's just the way they've been raised, So when you get books like this one, this is Fatawis Arkan Islam by Muhammad bin Saliyahu Taymin Rahimullah. He basically asking questions. People ask questions. Well, fatwa is a verdict, right? So this book is just people asking questions. They giving verdicts to them, basically. So this is how another way of implementing your study, your way of life, this thing, and not just going off of what you think because it feels a certain way. That get people thrown off a lot of times just because you're doing it based off of feeling. Can't do it based off of feeling. You gotta do it based off of this, right? Or based off the scholars' opinions, and some of them, when it's the is the right word? I can't ask them because you can't talk in Jumu'ah, but it's basically when there's a difference of opinion. I can either go with this brother or this brother. Both of them are sound scholars, and if I do either or, it doesn't make me err, right? They get the reward for it. I get the reward for trying to follow them. That's how easy this thing be. Like they don't put in the world. Allah put that on them. He didn't put that on us, right? Just like we can never get the rewards of a companion. No way, because of what they were, what they went through to allow us to have this. You can't reach it, right? We just try to basically talk about them to get an example. It's a book called Heroes of Islam. That book right there changed your whole outlook on a ton of stuff. It had you hyped. Like for me, I get hyped with stuff about good stories and stuff like that. It like fuels you to understand what they were in terms of pride and how they looked at Islam. Like his one brother got his limb chopped off. He was just holding a flag in a war. Chopped one out. He grabbed the flag and put it in. He ended up in between his knees before he finally dead. He ain't got nothing no more. Trying to uphold the banner of Islam. It's stuff like that. It's like, so when I'm walking around here and I'm saying I'm Muslim and I'm thinking of what they did for me to allow to even be here to have it, because if they lost that first battle, I don't think we would have had it. It would have wiped us out. That was basically the decisive battle, the first one. They won it, 300 against 3,000. Allah was bringing aid through the angels to say no, and won it, right? Stuff like that, when you read them, it's like, no way, I just want to just, like this and just nothing. You know, like I'm one of, how he says, the non-Muslims. I'm not that. You know, we're not that. So, it's a thing where he talked about, somebody asked a question about, is it correct to divide the religion into superficial matters, such as the buried and primary matters? So, I'm trying to tell how long it is, because I'm truly trying to like wrap up really fast, and it's pretty long. So, but he says dividing the religion into superficial matters and primary matters is incorrect and invalid, because all of the religion is of primary importance, and all of it is beneficial to the worshiper. All of it brings him closer to Allah, the Almighty, the All-Powerful. A person is rewarded for all of it. He benefits from all of it by the increase in his faith and his humility towards his Lord, the Almighty, the All-Powerful, even in matters relating to clothing, appearance, and such like. Now, it's a ton of more going to this. But when you say it's superficial, that's like people saying, oh, you don't have to have the beard. You don't. It don't make you not a non-Muslim. It don't. But it's saying if I have one, I'm worshiping. That's your form of worship, right? It's a saying. It says that too. But it don't take you out the fold. And people say, oh, it don't matter. It don't, whatever. You can't make, when a person does that, this is what I hear. When I hear people doing that, what it does is make a person not want to even converse with you at the end of the day. They might not even want to hear from you like that. It's not superficial. It's a part of the deen, and it's worship too, you know? So if they don't, alhamdulillah, that's just, it may be whatever they choose to do for whatever reason, you don't know, and it ain't for you to even get into. And for me, I don't let my brain go there, to be honest with you. My brain just don't go to those types of matters, because that's the individual person. I'm me. I have to stand forth by myself on that day. So if I want to remind, alhamdulillah, if you want to talk about it, whatever, but what's your intention when you bring it forth? Are you trying to say it in a way that you are better than the person because of it? Or are you trying to remind them? That's the idea. So that's the question to go through. Man, what's your point in saying this at this time? To belittle or give the reminder? One of the two. So if it's the reminder, alhamdulillah, you're just trying to do your favorite brother to a favor. And even with sisters, it's like some don't wear hijab, but they take them out the fold. It don't. Is it a sin? Yes, it is a form of worship, 100%. Because when the Hayat came down, they tore the paper, wine, cloths off themselves and wrapped themselves up. You know, different types of individuals when it comes to the companions, when it comes to us, 100%. They got it firsthand. You know, we come up with me personally, became Muslim later and grew into it. They come from Hayat as it going. That's a different type of experience, in my opinion. You know, so it's stuff like that. You don't want to get to the, and then how do you know? Like, because it's a part of fitra, right? Shaving the hair, people hair, the armpits, and clipping the nails every 40 days and all that. Do you know if they shaving? Will you ask them that? You know? So it's stuff like that. I don't get into that. Like, everybody knows what to do if they have been here for a certain amount of time. But if I'm giving it to you and you saying, oh, it's just superficial, no, it ain't superficial. It is this. It's the thing. But if you choose to handle that, because at the end of the day, this is the other part. It's stated that in Jannah you won't even have it. So I don't want to look like the people of Jannah right now. I'm the people of the earth right now. So this is what I'm supposed to do. And then when you get in Jannah, you get whatever you want at the end of the day. That's the cool part of well, that's just where I talk. That's alhamdulillah, right? You're gonna do the things here that's gonna restrict you. So when you get there, you can do whatever comes to mind, you get it. That's different. You know? You got how you want to do the house, whatever you want the riches, do halal. Cause up there you gonna get it in abundance. You ain't gonna never go through nothing no more. That right there is what makes it be like alhamdulillah, subhanallah, right? So that's what I just wanted to kind of remind ourselves. I done literally got off topic a little bit, but it's books, Islamic verdicts, where we get the deen from. Bukhari, not all of them is Sahih, but through research, they done did a good job of trying to compile a lot of the Sahih together. You know, and if you do come across one that's not, and you practice it, alhamdulillah, you get the reward for your intention. You know, then when somebody correct you because of it, accept the correction. That's the form of humility and being grateful that Allah, once again, guiding you to it, because He used individuals, right? He used individuals. You saying it's nothing by coincidence. I said, preordainment. Nothing by coincidence that you go throughout your day doing. Whether you hear something, see something, touch something, taste something, smell something, it has a reason behind it. You know, a lot of this don't move like that. So, shout out to God. I hope this has been a benefit to you all as it has been to me, while my voice is closer to my ears. So a lot of times I'm literally talking to myself. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.